And welcome one and all to Planet Poetry 28, the April Poetry Month version. And I think you all have welcome to see some faces I haven't seen in a while and faces that haven't been here. I'm glad you all could come. Planet Poetry is unique event in that we all use the share screen so we can all read each other's poems as we perform them. Gives us that little extra thing that sometimes wish I had when I was at a lot of the open mics. And it's fine. I can gladly display your poems for you. If you have any issue, just send it to me as an email. It's the easiest way. I'm Mark at poetwithguitar.com. I'll put that in my box and gladly share for you if need be. And generally, what I've been doing is opening to break the ice myself, and I'll do so now. These are a couple of April poems that I have. And so I think for all of us, by the way, if you've written poems in April, here's a chance to share them. And we all understand that they're only a month old and we haven't had 5 years to revise them, as we sometimes do. Blood brothers, colors are the source of our differences, like flowers with prideful scents. Only blood is red beneath the skin and shares our sameness within. We are brown with hair of paprika, white like butterflies with eyes azure. We are the yellowness of a wedding band, ebony as tourmaline, amber as desert sand. If only we saw in black and white tones or greeted each other by our noses, or like dolphins send our sonar songs across the hues of oceans. Best we meet in a poem which has no skin, as we meet here, the same blood within. Headlines in America 2023, all you need to know. Wife poisons husband with Drano. Trump pays off the queen of porno. Thousands boo a drag queen show. Mass murder is the status quo. Trains explode in Ohio. Tornadoes swirl in Idaho. The Bible Belt is anti-woke. Bitcoin bullshit. TikTok phone. Cancel culture meets Thoreau. West on fire. North too cold. Compassion at an all-time low. Common sense is on death row. Oh, oh, the evening news, daily truth in psycho blues.
Wow.
To a grandson who's now in college, to one come of age. When I was young back then, as now, the world was split like vultures fighting over a bloody cow. War and scandal were all the news, so everybody grew their hair long. What did the tumult and flower power bring? What mystical awakening? All we wanted was to laugh again, like the children we were inside. Roaring years of drugs and fun, roller skating to a sonic drum, our jitterbugging rock and roll. Love feels homeless on the streets of now, in history's dialectic of despair. Everything's impossibly complex. Prejudice and chaos still rule the airwaves. Tell me what the future brings. Who would dare? What is to be said of us, ancient ones who danced like dervishes of future shock as the planet melted and air became thick? I was part of it. We all took our share, growing soft and unwise, spinning from the past, unwilling to surrender to regrets. History sputters on in a trance. The nation bickers with itself again. Gloom and scandal are all you hear. Seek out the revelry, not the despair. The world obeys its fate and youth will fade. Strive for your untamed innocence while you still have the chance. And I guess I'll end with one more. If only words, if only words could harmonize, hire a woodpecker band, bring the silent forest to rumba. If only words could eye the sun, bathe in a blanket of light, skin of naked clouds, molten gold. If only words could waltz the waves, flow in currents of arpeggio, up and round the moon we go. If only words could be more like music, saying nothing, saying everything. If only they whistled like birds, I would write serenades, dusk to dawn. And thank you.
Bravo, bravo.
Thank you. I
Lovely.
think, yeah, you can unmute. Actually, I don't have a muting policy by any means. If there's noise in your area, we ask you to mute. Otherwise, it's nice sometimes to hear a little breathing or a cat in the background. Makes it makes us connects us is no problem with me. Uh, and afterwards, please put any information you'd like to share with us in the chat about any personal things you have coming up and all that. For myself, the only thing I have on Sunday, there'll be a workshop at 10 p at 11 a.m. Eastern time, and it's going to be done by Swata, an Indian poet, and it's going to be on food, a foodie workshop. So I'm sure that's going to be a lot of fun. And if you're interested, please get in touch. I'll put my information again in the chat. And I'll move on. I think Rick is going to be our first poet. I did put a lineup in the chat, and I'll continue to do so as people get in, so you can see where we're at with that. Take it away, Rick.
Thank you, sir. I'm ready to share. So here we go. I've got a couple pieces for you that I think you'll find amusing. This first one, I wanted to write something completely out of character and in a vein that you don't hear much poetry about. So I wrote a poem about an insurance meeting. I spent a lot of time doing marketing, and I thought something my poet friends haven't heard much about is a poem about an insurance meeting. So here we go. I was attending a meeting on insurance, which required no small endurance. The conversation threw me when the insurance dude who knew me tossed me a salad of words that made me doubt what I just heard, which was important because I had to sell it, that very clause. So I needed to learn how I might tell it if for them I could loudly bellish sell it. I was a marketing guy at the table, and at wordsmithery I'm usually more than able to sell whatever the suits in their confusion force whatever on the public that seems or could be seen to amuse them. If I understood, then I might make good and make it easier to sell whatever strawberry flavor of hell they got, I thought, which I usually get, though I wish I could forget, which I explain after I grind it with my brain to spell it plain and sell, and tell it. But this one lost me completely. I'll read. It was custom talk straight from the insurance shop, meant by design to be opaque, lest there not be any mistake. This way they could use this, I'll confess, to avoid to pay, as Freud would say, a little more than delaying. Now, in high-powered meetings like this, which foster the illusion that there is not any confusion, well, by all means, my dear, clear. Let's just sign it and get out of here with no new confusion, no blue contusions, never more. But I've got to sell it, so I asked him to spell it. What did he mean when he said breakage? Help me across this dangerous, choppy, over-the-toppy waters of this lakeage. The insurance exec smiled as he shuffled his papers pile. It works out somehow like this. For insurance to exist, the plan is never pay. Never by night or by day pay. But friends aloud, they never say, but if we must, betray our company's investors by paying. When there's no use anymore of delaying, we call it breakage. Like there's some mistake, because we don't pay. That's all he would say. And this one, when you hear poets, when we hear a felicitous phrase, we're often, quite enamored of it and want to put it to some use. Well, I heard a phrase the other day that was given when Mr. Musk's latest fantasy ride blew up. We were told it was not an explosion, it was an unscheduled disassembly. And I thought, now there is a phrase, boy, unscheduled rapid disassembly. There we go. I like that. So I thought I would put it to another use. Rapid, sudden, unscheduled disassembly. What happened to that planet there, my dear? You see, we're riding in a UFO above the former planet Earth that used to, serve all these little human things. And there's an alien and his nephew up there looking down at the Earth, and the nephew says, "What happened to that planet there, Uncle, dear?" His uncle replies, "It experienced a sudden unexpected disassembly. Now that planet is just a memory." "Was it hurt by a comet?" "No, my lad, it was destroyed by what was on it." "Was it a sudden outbreak of disease? Didn't they have all they need?" "No, my boy, it was all about greed." "Did the water boil away?" "No, little one, it was the polluter's hand that they would not stay." "Did the air turn all of a sudden volcanic?" "No, my boy, but the mob ruled and kept the foolish in a panic." "Did a meteor fall from the sky?" "Ah, 'tis a sorrier tale," says I. "They ground in a great sea of guns. They never knew what they had done." "Did no one warn them?" "Well, what was said, never enough, boy. They must have had it in their heads there was some planet B, so this let it go and hie away, you see. Now it's just a stinking ruin, Uncle. Is it true what they say about that ancient race, the humans?" "Sure, and it is sad, my son. There's nothing doing with that sad sack race. What do you say, Uncle? Isn't there some grace?" "You're kinder than that. Now here's what I say. Take care of your planet. Happy Earth Day." And then this last one, those of you who pay attention to American politics have probably seen some really strange stuff going on down in Florida. So as an ex-Floridian, I thought I would pay my little tribute. And this is called Five Fragrant Florida Fables. They're brief. Part one. A man carves a trailer park from a single palm tree. Billy Harkness had a passion, and though he admitted it was dreadfully, woefully out of fashion, he'd spent a dozen years or more carving from a single palm tree's softwood core a miniature trailer park for all to see, with their little picket fences, chase lounges, and color TVs. He had to carve under a microscope late at night and all the day. He never listened to the voices who murmured nay. He carved his people fat and thin. He even put their doggies and kittens in, their little lawns, their tiny trees, even a few with scraped up knees, their sprinklers and security gates, one stacked high with old fruit crates, their sunburned noses, sunglasses too, wearing sandals, flip-flops, and some who, driving golf carts, rode right on through. Part two. A man collects samples of the pills of every party drug used in the 60s and 70s. He collected reds. He collected ludes. He selected all the ones that people used. He got acid. He got speed. He even found the ones that made you bleed. He found the round ones and the ovals, found a few that created neural novas. He selected pink ones, blue and greenies, even ones that looked vaguely obscene. Paper acid, window pane, ones that help you cope with rain. Jellied ones to help you dream, some to cure you off of nicotine, some to chew and some to swallow. Some you'd be better off if they were hollow. Shiny black ones to keep you up, some after which you'd taken, you should never drive a truck. Ones to chill you out already, ones after which you've taken, you won't walk steady, just loll and pitch, so best get ready. His drug menagerie, this great collection, and besides, he made some great connections. Part three. A man trained a clutch of baby alligators to play Anagata Davida on the bells. Fresh from their eggs, these baby gators were introduced to tiny tinkling bells hung from taters. They take their cue from bits of food dangled there beneath their snood, sometimes fish and sometimes froggies. After these last, it seems, were rendered groggy. They just responded to iron butterfly. I don't understand it, but watch them fly. They jump up on their two hind feet and ring their bells, God knows why. But Anagata Davida seems to stir a little something down in their middle. Oh, if they could only play a fiddle. Watch these little creatures leap and snap. They learned Anagata Davida before their nap. For the organ sound, they use their feet on an Emini organ, and it's all complete. Part four. Marching kittens on parade. This is all Florida tales. Marching kittens on parade. She lined them up one summer day, tail to nose, expecting them, even urging the 10 to wander, play. But this clutch of kittens like to march. Their movements circumscribed like they dipped in starch. One by one they paraded on by. They expected at Macy's parade in July. Or maybe Thanksgiving, I'm up in the air. But if they climb on those balloons, they'll need some stairs. When then they're shooting, nothing tooting way up in the sky in a blink of an eye on a zooming balloon. It's the final clause. That's exactly why. And then finally, part 5. A man marries every one of a family's 7 daughters in age sequence. He met Melissa. It was May. He proposed marriage that very day. But it wasn't long before he met June, and oh, by gosh, in his heart, he found more room. He told Melissa that he met June, Melissa's older sister, who could always be counted to ferry a merry tune, and now in his heart he found room for June. This upset Melissa, who was not gay. That was her cousin who could never seem to stay. So Melissa dismissed this loving guy. Just ask the lovely June when she's about it. She knows why, and there's no doubt. No sooner had he changed his nest, he met another sister by the name of Bess. He wooed her, he sought her, and by goodness adopted her deep in his heart. Or so, just for a while, that's what he thought. He decided and requited that she was the best of all the daughters in that family nest. June came through the front door, but didn't dally. That's exactly when he met the elder sister, Sally. Sally came in arm with little June. She decided to move into the upstairs room. No sooner had she loaded in that she and Bobby came within, my friend. Sally stood in June's wedding party, yet surprisingly soon she laid down with Bobby, a familiar tune for this well-groomed fellow. June was okay with her sister staying, despite knowing she was regularly with her husband laying. But the last straw was broke with sister Carla, who traveled widely by barge and boat. She traveled fa-la-la also by bus and electric car. So when youngest sister Monique joined the fun, that was it. Old June was done. She could never with her sister's party atop her husband. She was far too haughty. These 6 sisters met and found all Bobby a people pleaser, although perhaps a little naughty, him the youngest geezer. And thus we traveled to Florida for fragrant Florida fables.
Well, well, that's wonderful, Rick. Thank you. It's so nice to also just I can hear the rhymes that you use, of course, in your performances, but to see how you use them, in those lines and with the colors and all the rest of it, it was really a treat for me to read along with that. And thank you very much. I think
Thank
it
you,
was
brother. Very
well
kind.
good to have.
I
It's hard
fully
to write.
recognize my home state.
Uh, really hard to write comical, poetry like that. It's good, fun using rhyme like that. It's just great. Well, thank
Thank you.
you. So I did post, as you can see in the chat, and I'll continue to upgrade it, of course. And I think also we can introduce ourselves a little. If I know a little bit about you, I know Ian. You're somewhere in the UK, I believe, and it's coming next. I think you're on mute, Ian.
Yeah, yes. I wasn't quite sure of the format. I don't have a screen share, but I can mail the ones I do to you.
Oh yeah, then do so, and then they'll pass on, okay? Now it'll take me a second to get it.
Oh, okay, right. Well, let me
Yeah, take your
hang
time.
on. I can get them and put them onto a document and get them ready to do a screen
Sure, thank
share.
you. Sure, we'll come right back to you. Okay.
Okay,
Uh,
cheers.
okay, Connie, are you ready?
Mhm.
Connie, I think is from Alaska, right?
Yep,
Yep.
from Alaska. It's called Reflection. I lost the self I know when youth was left behind and aging came unasked. Mountain goats chasing rocky cliffs, salmons racing rolling ocean waves, still remain past sight so vivid. Close my eyes and they return, life that lives in memory until the mirror speaks and says no more. I was a commercial fisherman for years in my youth.
Oh, sure. Well, thank you, Connie. Give us some more.
Well, that's all there was to that. But this basically does come from the years I commercial fished for about 20 years
Sure.
and hunted mountain goats in Prince William Sound. So
This
this
is
is
a lovely poem, Connie. Thank you for sharing it. I know that you're, Connie, I know is an editor and a prose writer and is new to poetry, and your poetry is really evolving. You're saying a lot with a little, and congratulations. I think you have wonderful, you have a wonderful touch. I look forward to you continuing and uh,
thank
and
you.
giving us more.
I'm
Thank you.
learning a lot from everyone here.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. That was wonderful. Ian, I'll pass on to Connie and then we'll get back to you. Take your time. Yeah, just sure. Uh, Connie, I, where are you? Connie not here? She was here before, I see. Okay. Then Debbie, I have your poem, Debbie. I can put it on for you.
Okay,
Hi, Debbie.
thank you.
Where are you? Where are you from, Debbie? And tell us a little about
I'm
yourself.
in York in the UK, so it's lovely to meet you all.
Okay. Here you go. Be right there. Okay, they're opening now. And back to
I only bought 3 today because I'd got the wrong end of the stick. I thought there were other readers coming first, but
oh, sure. No, sure. No stress. Enjoy.
so this first one I'm quite proud of because it's my first and only one I got in print, um, published by the White Rose Bards, in a little anthology of Yorkshire poets. So this is it. Diving. Her call comes at just past 4 when I'm rushing out the door to catch the post. This time I let it ring. She floods into my life after absence, out of sync, needing to wash up on my safe shore, capsized by ancient rock rubbles she never swims free of. The others too, racked up from the blue, heavy folk, thrashing madly in the waves, never diving in the murk to work free what anchors them. I pushed hard for them just to try, having dived for myself long ago. I know that is the only place to survive when tsunamis crash down from behind. And this one is about my local park down the road and this wonderful little character who regularly visits there. Park keeper. This is my time to creep secretly, catching the first sliver of moon, dusk-kissed, breathing earth's musk. Trampled yellow paper leaves hush the rushed urban workers heading home. It is her time too, the gnome lady, half hobo, half hedgehog, patrolling the park. Tonight she is sat half curled on the muddy curb outside the gate, head bowed, chin folded into a toothless gurn. Are you okay? She nods. I'm tired. Mutters, unaware, eccentric musings about the alien clock time she does not own, with questions begged about returning inside before the gateman comes. No one sees her either in the daylight as she trundles her shopping trolley round the pond, flinging crumbs. Her baggy coat and iron-toed boots blend with the goose-feathered breasts and the duck's clown waddles. No one sees her covered water bucket atop her trolley. I couldn't wash all the toilet floors today. Some of the cubicles locked. crumbs of news she feeds me. We first spoke last year, sat under blossom-coughing trees. I drank in her verbal almanac of park bird life, a counting of seasonal eggs, a ticking off the ones that broke, were lost, of shiftings and rebuildings of nests, and of how her chicks fared and grew in strength into summer ducks and drakes. I wonder at other of her tasks. A gathering of summer seeds, maybe, to feed to the bare patches. A whispering to the fairies to heal the great oak's storm-broke limb. She had had it all in control. While seated screen gloaters sipped coffee above at the top of the park cafe steps. They read news of people in high places who meet and breathe false heat about how to tend the unprotected earth. But here at last on her adopted watch, the souls of bird and fox alike will sleep fat and sound throughout this discontented winter. The gift. We can only bear morsels of mystery and magic. They grip us wildly, bird in hand by the soul. Too sweet and strong. They get buried a long, long time. The simple and true of what have touched me most, as in that first wood-clad classroom, choosing a Christmas card scene. Mine, a swathe of midnight blue and stars, strewn above a jeweled fable of camels, kings, and stable. Words echoing my little history from the morning carol, still ringing in my ears, the hopes and fears of all the years, ripening the small plum of my heart. This too rich feeling opened old mystical knowing and ancient vistas I could not name, so cleverly they hid deep inside to remain embalmed in my casket mind of purple silk, a regal gift left at my feet. Years on, the unwrapping was secretly saved for the many harsh, miserable mule trudging days, when lost and soul starved for a truth that is too sweet to taste. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, Debbie. I mean, besides the content and the intensity of the images, what a unique, different. Each poem had control within the style that you were writing it. You know, the longer lines and the shorter lines, and the way you just play around with sound.
Yeah,
You really read into it in such a way as, you know, you paused at the end of the lines that had a pause, and you jammed to speed up the reading at certain points to give it a little more power. It was really a lovely thing to hear you recite your poems, which are so powerful and filled with
thank you.
so much imagery. I mean, just so much great power. Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much. Well,
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
oh, I'm sure, yeah, really. Rick, let me just have you sent it, Rick? Everything good? I'm just opening up my
Ian.
Ian, I'm sorry, Ian. Yeah.
Yes,
Um,
I got them ready to share.
do you want to share them yourself? You're all set?
Yeah, I got them. I just
Oh,
checked
sure. Okay. I thought you were going to
yeah.
send email. Okay. Well, thank you, Ian. Thanks for your patience. Where you're from? Which part of England?
I'm sort of southeast. It's Reading, Berkshire. We're about 40 miles west of London.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, Well, thank you for
Right.
joining us tonight, this evening for you. Yeah.
Well, no, 9 o'clock is not such a bad hour. I might not manage to make it right through to the finishing line,
That's
but
quite all right. Sure.
it's nice. It's fascinating. I'm really enjoying what I'm hearing tonight.
Yeah.
I've got two very new ones and one slightly older one. But I started recently, within the last couple of weeks, I had this idea about time to do something on post-pandemic reflections. So I started working on under a working title, coming back up for air again.
Sure. Put him up.
Yeah, so well, this first one is actually from that. The other two are slightly different. So the first one, let me share screen. Whoops. There we go. Is that it? Oh, you can see that.
Yes.
Okay, good. So this one's called Some Contemplations on Breathing. And I started off, picked up this extract from J. Krishnamurti's Meditations. To be absolutely nothing is to be beyond measure. Staring up at the sky, sky on sky on sky, the breath is barely a ripple of a lazy summer breeze on a flat pond. It sits there unseen, unnoticed, as one never conscious in dream unconsciousness, like sun's rays that surreptitiously finger skin, touching but without sense of reckoning. Just part of the everyday scene of life progressing in an orderly fashion. Nothing to see here, nothing out of kilter, out of step, nothing until something occurs to break up the daily pattern, reassuring as that seems, faded to a neutral grey on the cusp of self-awareness. Then a sudden fault cracks the geological facts on the ground. A rift, a tear in the fabric of normality appears suddenly to dislodge and disturb the equanimity of our dormant senses. Our breathing, until now unnoticed, takes on a new urgency as we realize how ineffably we are entwined within that embrace of gentle breath, the imperturbable stir of a gentle movement that denotes a life taken for granted, what it means under a new set of parameters to be struggling for air, counting the receding seconds, breath by breath. Now a final reckoning, sudden realization how we depend on it, the delicate, soft movement, more delicate than the movement of a finely tuned, jeweled timepiece. Eyes now opened wide and wider still with each gasping intake of the precious invisible molecules. Now we can grasp finally that tantalizingly thin line that separates the living from the dead, life from death. So this one is, well, this is an older one. It's called Reflections on Escapism. I'm leaving this world for a while, going away for a change of air. I'm rearranging my priorities, perhaps learn how to smile once again. It seems so long now since I was myself, but I know I need to get back there. Too long I've been trying to fit the mold built to accept someone else's design. I need to find a space of my own, to throw away this bitter blindfold, living in the shadows of an overgrown forest, finding my way back into the light. So I'm off now to take some shore leave, going to get myself straightened out, iron over the creases, unloosen the knots entangled inside me, and learn how to weave back together the time that's been lost. Time, a healer of wounds, of fear, loathing, and doubts. And when the moment's right for me to return, when I've made my peace with this fractious world, I'll cross back over that sighing tenebrous river, laden with treasures to fill a Grecian urn, rolled ingots of shimmering Spanish silver and burnished bars of looted Inca gold. And this is the most recent one. This was a friend told me about this competition someplace in Ireland, where each week they give you 5 words as a prompt. You have to write a poem, including the 5 words or derivatives of those words. And I think this one, what the 5 words were: finish, mirror, digit, sound, and absorb. So I've written a sonnet, so which I've written a few before. So this one's sonnet number 68, a 5-word sonnet. Obviously playing on the idea that there's 5 key words there. Time to look more closely in the mirror as the years are passing, nearing the finish line, taking stock of times gone by in those stiller moments of reflection in the autumn of our lives. The clock's hands have now become digitalized, blinking away the hours that once did glide more smoothly as we did not fully realize the days turning into years, nor the rising tide. Now it becomes more clear the upturned hourglass is running out of sand that cannot be put back to rerun time, counting back the hours we've lost, absorbing age's blows, or taking up the slack that lies unraveled, a clear sign of the cost that weighs heavy now as we see all things must pass. So that's my 3. Thank you.
Hmm. Well, thank you, Ian. Wow. Yeah, no, Krishnamurti is one of the, I guess, top 3 or 4 people that have influenced my life. I really enjoy that poem as well, and it is interesting that the second poem, the subtle ways that you use your form, the indenting and all the rest, how it just adds so much more. Because when you read your work, now that we see it and how you construct it, it creates a different kind of a thing. Obviously, when it's on the page that way, and they're really interesting to see. I was very impressed with sonnet number 68. That's your most recent. So you have 68 sonnets. Okay, that's wonderful.
Target Targeting Shakespeare's 154.
Right, you're on the way. Right.
Some ways to go yet.
Well,
Cheers.
cheers and thank you for that. And it's wonderful, as we all know, that I post this on YouTube, and I'll send you all the link to it, so you can always spend a little extra time with some of these poems, which I really love to do. And thanks for that. All right, Lantern Carrier is uh, is reading next on the subject of the Enlightenment. Uh, Always nice to have the Lantern Carrier. Thank you for coming, for sharing.
Thank you. So let me see if I can remember the shared screen thing. Yes, and this one is called, no, it's not the one I wanted. This one is called, and not this one either. Give me a moment.
Sure.
Can you see this?
Yes, Gratitude Supreme.
The one I'm wanting to do is called Artistry Sublime.
No, we see Gratitude Supreme.
So let's try again.
And sometimes what you have to do, of course, Lantern, is you have to come back to us. You have to come back to the Zoom room, and then you'll be able to share, and then you'll find if you have your work on your desktop.
I've come back to them. They're all there. I think I'll get it this time.
Sure.
Can you see that one now?
Yes, Artistry Sublime.
Yeah, because
Yes.
I think you've got Alexandra with you, isn't it? That's why I wanted to change it.
Okay.
Art, in the most effective sense of the word, is a sublime truth. Light is there in the womb of God, and the artist, graced by inspiration, receives its flow in an ongoing process of movement, self-transcendence, progress. Light is an aura of pageantry, of effulgence delight. Again, it is a birthless and deathless kaleidoscope of poetry and mystical flow. It has no name and is an unspoken vortex of cosmic energy and cosmic love, expressing a realm of consciousness. We use names and graphic images, and since everything rises and falls from the mouth of God, then love is that image. We need words to help us to assimilate this, just as much as we need the inner shrine like a river to make holy our receptivity, yet the journey ultimately takes us beyond. The poet Alexandra appears to take from this vision, recognizing its transcendent nature, growing with it as she imbibes its vortex of luminance, ever yearning to express that which is and yet is not. A divine dance, drama, or cadences, not fixed but ceaselessly in motion, rhythmic in its melodies, as it glorifies itself, using its creation as a channel or vessel to augment this glory. In Alexandra's art, wings spiral, birds sing and sow like the soul, butterflies circle in waltz as the energies become visual, all originating from the seed of life, none other than the fullness or emptiness, the perennial entity called the Absolute, or God. How invaluable is this? Do we absorb it all in the same rung of the eternal ladder? Yes and no. For while receptivity may be immediate, assimilation can take time. For a man with good digestion, the food will digest quickly. But if the stomach is sluggish, it will require work. So too with souls, as we are all at various levels on the ladder of evolution, and our receptivity, absorption, or assimilation works according to the extent of our longing, like that of a hungry child. That's one.
Hmm.
And now go back again. So watch this. Being unapologetically me.
We're still there. We got it now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I attained resilience in a dark cocoon, not emerging into an elegant butterfly, but following the ways of wine, women, and fast foods along a solemn path with ferocious speed, greater than that of a Grand Prix driver. My journey through life was one of rugged terrains, dark tunnels, a vast web of shadows leading to damaged nerves and bleeding scars on my emotions. I was a drunk who knew naught but pain and cravings each dawn, as intense as the ceaseless tremor in my grasping fingers, reaching for the bottle of Jack Daniels that I thought would give me solace. I lived only for me, my story one of fast living, finding my pseudo comfort through drugs and other illicit behaviors. I was unhappy, soaked in remorse, loneliness, and fear. My insecurity was immense and filled with nightmarish dreams. I awoke in buckets of sweat, deep-seated anxieties, and the soft loot of conscience, seeking the wakefulness of my nature. Alone in the abyss of my emptiness, love's mercy knocked on my door, and I heard a voice within begging me to abandon the penury of quick fixes. One day I stumbled into a wise man who taught me that unworthiness and guilt were not the answers. He said the change begins with me, that I am the true master of my fate and should unfurl like the rose, listening to the inner whisper, constantly trying to guide my journey to the path of joyfulness and light. I became unapologetically me, no longer associated with shady deals and cloudy smokes. Gone were the bedfellows, allowing me to awaken in strange surroundings. I realized that I create Mother Gaia by the vibrations that I offer to her, that love through inspirational deeds drives positive change. I learned that toxic behaviors did not fulfill me, but led to a joyless state. I practiced sending good energy to the cosmos, to humanity, and the universe met my needs. I now know I am unique, and that like the sun, moon, and stars, I have something to offer to mankind, that finding this is crucial, and my happiness lies in fulfilling this role to humanity. I cried, reached deep within, and my mind felt calmer, even as the psychic heart became more centered. A new sense of vibrancy surged into my life, and my joy and abundance increased as my ancient smile returned. Now my life of loneliness and regrets are over. My health vastly improved. I am happy because through grace, I was given the boon to be my true self. My restless thoughts have been dissolved, and I am well on the way to my paradise on earth. Lantern Carrier, thank you. That's it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Lantern. I was writing, and I feel like I'm listening to a Persian poet from the 14th century sometimes. I love it, which is a wonderful compliment. Thank you. And I'm sure we'll all agree. I was going to have Alexandra perform next, first because she's in faraway Greece and it's a little late hour for her. And since Lantern graced us with a poem by her about her work, I think it's all in keeping that Alexandra read as well. And thank you all for indulging there. And hi, Alexandra, welcome.
Oh, thank you.
That's
Lantern, if
that's
you
some
do that,
testament, huh?
I'm going to feel too embarrassed to read if you're going to read that. Thank God it's only like a few of us. Yeah, I think that Rumi and Khalil Gibran remind me of Lantern's poems too. Well, because it's been a very long day, I was just gonna read a very short one, which is a very old one actually, from the beginning of the series. Flying 2. The flying is high, the flying is high, the flying is the highest. It lasts forever. Take me on the turquoise horse, over the hayfields, into the sun, forever. High mountains flying right, no crash landing. Deep ravines, rivers flowing, eagles above. Taking me on the turquoise horse. Love, freedom, poetry. If you can accept the windings of my mind, if you can trust the reality of my fantasies, living in the strange wonders and genuine pleasures of this world and other worlds, living where fantasy and reality merge, following the intuition and the intuitions of the past, following the invisible and the visible, lying by the sea under the olive tree, open and ready, it's all changing. Don't think hard of the ghosts of the past, where energy is rewarded, where life gives it all. At 14 and 16, they prepared me for you, taking me on the turquoise horse, over the wild flowers, into the wind and fire. Forever, the flying is high, the flying is high, the flying is the highest. It is absolute. Thank you. That was really old, like
Oh,
2001.
you're certainly evolving as I've seen some of your more recent work. And the use of light that you used back then within your graphics as well has changed, and all good.
The
Yeah.
style, the writing and the style and the designs have really changed a lot since 2001.
But your mesmerizing voice has not. And that's part of all of it that works so well. Thank you. That was, of course, take a deep breath. Thank you, Alexandra, for joining and for sharing, and for Lantern for setting us up for that. Well, I have a Gustav next. I have your poem. This has been a good political season for you, Gustav. I'm sure you could find a lot of things to be saying. Gustav, you're from
Yes,
Florida, right? You're from that DeSantis state, right?
DeSantis State. I am from Florida. I live in West Palm Beach, and normally I would do. I actually wasn't prepared fully to read, so I put this together quite quickly. These are April poems. These are done this month.
Great.
This is called The Fool's Journey, Part 2. The Fool. The zero card of 78. The fool steps off the cliff in the rider wait. The white rose in his hand symbolizes freedom for desire's base. Will he fall to his doom without a trace, or soar to new heights on the wings of grace? The choice is yours. This you must face. The lovers. The lovers of the major arcana, the sixth card. Attraction, love, beauty, trials overcome hard. Two lovers, male and female, Adam and Eve, bound in love beneath the tree of knowledge to never leave. The symbolism of oneness from two divine. With fortune's favor, I'll make you mine. The star, the sun, and the moon. The star, the sun, and the moon in my eye. The star, the sun, and the moon fill my sky with delights, insights, and hope. They come to me at the end of my rope to give me perspective how small my problems really are compared to the massive size of a star. The sun provides the inspiration for the moon's illusions, dissipation. The wheel of fortune. The wheel of fortune turns away the fears it burns. Destiny is yours to take. The wheel portends success. It's never fake. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius are fixed signs foretell luck and change mix. With the wheel's incessant turning comes the abundance for which you are yearning. Swords, pentacles, wands, and cups of the minor arcana. With this sword I slice through air. The world of the intellect is ever there. With these pentacles I am bound to earth. I know the value, I feel its worth. With these wands of passionate fire, I honor my needs, my wants, my desire. With these cups I drink emotions deep, brought so dear they must never be sold so cheap. King, queen, knight, and page of the minor arcana. King, queen, knight, and page all take their roles upon the stage. Each has a defined part to play. King's masculine energy to win the day. The queen's fecundity, the divine feminine cultivated. From the earth's bounty, never separated. The night drive and passion questing, ever defending, never resting. The page is all beginnings, study and communication. The desire to rise above one's station. The royal court is people's energy in your life, things that happen, both the good and the strife. And this next piece, did you get the next piece? Bicycle Day?
I'm sorry. No, I just copied that one.
Okay, I can read it off my email, but I don't know if I can share screen.
No, I can. If you send it to me, I can pick it up real quickly. But
I believe I did send it to you. Poetwithguitar
yeah.
.net.
Sure, I'll take a half a second.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry.
No,
Let me get this. let me get this
Okay, I got
straightened
you up
out
here.
here.
Sure.
Oh, you do?
Let's see. I'm opening up
You have
your email,
bicycle day?
and no, that's all I have. But that's the only one. So just go ahead and read it for us. It's okay, Gustav.
Okay, I'm so
No,
sorry.
no, it's okay.
This is called Bicycle Day. I'm On April 19th, 1943, Albert Hofmann ingested 200 micrograms of LSD. The Swiss chemist began to feel intense changes in his perception. Thus began his cosmic consciousness reception. He got on his bicycle to go home, but hallucinations followed him as he did roam through the streets of Basel, his hometown. He feared he was having a breakdown. But soon enough, his trip turned pleasant. Kaleidoscopic visions were omnipresent. Colors, sounds, and shapes all shifted as through his mind the visions drifted. Albert had synthesized a powerful psychoactive substance for altering consciousness amongst us. For this we celebrate Bicycle Day, when Albert Hofmann discovered a new way to open the doors of the hidden mind, a gift he gave to all mankind. Thank you.
Well, thank you. This is interesting. The first group that they all seem to me as if they could be part of one poem.
Indeed.
Indeed, just like with some stars in between or a line or just naming them, they're all very similar in form and shape. Many of them have, like one longer line going out there just to break up the form of things in pretty much the same. Really, it's an interesting thing. You find your own little form, your own little boundary, and you work a couple of poems into it. It was really well done, and
Thank
appreciated
you.
that. Thank you very much. It was great. Okay, that's fun. Thank you. Moving on, Robert, who is, I think, in Baltimore, in the Maryland area, right? Delaware.
That's correct. I'm in Delaware, in the
Oh,
southern part of the state. I live about 4 miles from the Atlantic Ocean. So it's wonderful. Good afternoon. I'm Robert Fleming, a writer and graphic artist from Delaware in the United States. And I'm going to share my continuing journey with visual poetry. Today, I'm going to share the poems where I used white space. And when I started this, I noticed that on the page, before I write, I see more white space than text. My first example is using white space when I turn the page into a road with sidewalks, and I do columns for that. Just as a memory, this is what the road looks like. And it looked to me like columns. The two sidewalks could be columns, and the road in the center could be a column. And this was the poem that, okay, I'm gonna do.
could you blow it up a bit, Robert?
Yeah, I'm gonna do slideshow.
Sure,
There we go. That's the biggest I can make it.
sure. That's great.
Okay. So this is called United Nations Find Pedestrian Driver Switch equals Peace. An Ash quarter horse buggies, and a Ford Model A four-wheeler wheels over orange dust, and a red Kawasaki and silver sidecar weaves between lanes. And Adam prams a pram with 2-month Jane wailing, and Jill's hairless right arm swings a tan briefcase, and John Jogger jogs in red striped white sweatpants. More than 200 years, pedestrians on the side and vehicles in the center. More strike through. The rules of the road bill is law. Roads will be gray cemented, and Olivia loads a Ford F-150 pickup truck, and Jack's 33-inch haired legs walk 2 miles per hour, Nike step after Nike step. and Eve motors a white Ford F wearing a black headscarf with tail tarring the sidewalk. And I'm going to put, after my share, a link to this presentation. And if you're interested in trying columns, I have some technical specs of how you can do it in Microsoft Word, and I'll just pass those. I'm going to have to position the file where I need it. Okay, here we go. So this is another, I think I'm going to go one back. This is a second example of using indentation. And I asked myself, what types of themes or images would support indentation? Movement, driving like a curved streets, or going up and down stairs or an escalator, or the ocean tide, waves coming in and out. It could also be a way to represent fragmented feelings or thinking, like the way a person who has bipolar thinks, or mania or depression. Or it could be duality, light, dark, good and evil. So this was my example. It's called Driver and Pedestrian at the Intersection. On a tarred street, I came to be a driver in a car, stopped at a red light that turned green for me. Along came a walker, walking against my way, toward their red light, looking at my phone. I was looking at them, listening to the radio. I have been here many times, in dreams too. Sometimes I was reversed. I was the walker, against the light. Walking pedestrian rules. The right of way is mine. I am the driver. Let the walker cross, honk, hit the walker. Be here, my driving teacher. The goal of driving is to get to a destination without an accident. Every time you do that, you are a success. My driving teacher is dead. I will drive what I want and redrive this intersection until I am through. And these are just some final thoughts I had about white space on the page. In a poem, should I use white space? Does the form of the white space support the theme? And I typically will only use extra white space when it supports the poem's theme. So go forth and experiment, and I'll put the presentation in the chat. And I wanted to share my next writing activities will be on Monday. I'll be having 2 publications, one in Medusa's Kitchen, which will be a horror sequence, and then also in Autolifts, which will be a series of visual poems. And greetings from Delaware.
Oh. Well, thank you, Robert. I'd love you to do a workshop on that. I'll talk to you about it. So that like to, the type of thing, so many different considerations of how your approach to indentation and to white space and in the form of poetry. It's really groundbreaking, and I look forward to experiencing more. It's really interesting reading, putting that together. Thank you. Wow. Okay. Lee, I have your poems. Lee, um, where are you? There you are. Hi,
Here
Lee.
I am. I've even unmuted.
And where? And you're from the south of, was it France
Yes,
or England?
no, the UK.
UK.
I live in Hastings, which is on the south coast, about 60 miles directly south from London.
Hmm.
Um,
Cool.
and
Well,
just
welcome and
before I
thanks.
start,
Yes.
say thank you for the kind words. I really appreciated it in your email.
Can you see your poems?
I can see my poems, yes.
Okay, then.
This is called Gagarin Sanga Him in Space. Basically, this was written specifically for a piece of music because I perform with this jazz group, and one of the guy who runs the group, the pianist, wrote a song called Gagarin Sang Him in Space and asked me to put words to it, which I did. Basically, as probably everybody knows, Gagarin was the first man in space in 1961. He was in space for less than a minute, but the man who came back wasn't the man who went in the first place. So, and he underwent some kind of epiphany, and that was been a common theme with successive astronauts. I mean, it's well testified in America, the effect of and how a lot of the astronauts changed when they came back. So it's called Gagarin Sang Him in Space. Walking with infinity, earth spinning at my feet, life, the candle in the sun, time, an unconvicted thief. I know that God is out there somewhere. Does he even see me? Does he know my name? Do I serve his purpose or just play the human game? Silence, silence, silence. Nothing even breathes. Darkness is unending. But the weaver, she still weaves. I know that my country is watching. The world holds its breath. Some men crave my story. Some men seek my death. Glory, 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 wrap me in a flag. Vodka kisses in the morning, a bear inside a rag. I know that someone is waiting in the vastness. How can I know his plan? God's finger on my shoulder. The end is the beginning. How small it seems a man. Mercy, mercy, mercy. Hide in endless nights. Truth can wait until tomorrow. Save me from the lights. And wash my cheeks with women. Pour gold into my mouth. Rubles for a smiling face. North, east, west, and south. Starlight, 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 freckles on the sky. Do I hear God weeping? Did man make him cry? Walking with infinity, earth spinning at my feet, life, a candle in the sun, time, an unconvicted thief. Thank you. Okay, the second one's called The Prophet's Lost Epistle. It's not about any particular prophet or any particular religion or belief system. It's just a, so it's, and a sip of water. The Prophet's Lost Epistle. When I've earned my death, A subtle crow will grow to wear my crest. Man-dressed worms wander through my arms to farm sustenance and breath. Doubt death will be my listeners when I have earned my death. Carrion swarm, drawing torn bodies with my teeth, a thief. Harbinger to the throng, salutes my tongue as if it were a flag. Then Godfrey dragged my lovers to the wheel, steal my body for an altar, a corpse authority, mute conscience to their slaughter. When death, like an honest pawnbroker, redeems his pledge, some edge my words with Librium, dumb harvest to the crowd, proud in penicillin praise, raise my speaking like a shroud, mimicking my deeds, swallowing the chaff, spitting out the seeds. Yet haunted and aloof, a solitary fool, a pool of polygons and paper planes, disdains ease safe certain proof. A lover of my doubt, he takes my whisper on his finger to wear, as if it were a shout. Fearing for the unborn, I count my breath. My priests may be your jailers when I have earned my death. Thank you for listening.
Sorry, my hand slipped on the mouse there for a second, but wow. Not only the poetry, but your delivery, your very unique delivery for each one of these poems was just a gift. Thank you. It was really great. The first poem was your it's really interesting the amount of personality you put into each line that you read. It was really wonderful. I'm so glad it's on recording. We can enjoy it again. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I suppose I can't speak for other people, but I mean, each poem has a particularly different character.
Yeah.
And to try to sort of be that character. I tried to be Gagarin. I mean, and you try to be the prophet. I think although everything we do is a self-portrait, in a way, we do use characters to tell our story.
Yeah.
Different personas.
Sure.
We send out whatever ambassador we need to face the world.
I once saw Andrei Vaznetsevsky read, and your first poem you read with that similar energy. He was a great reader as well. Well, thank you. That's just great. Wow. Oh, okay, Finn. Hi, Finn. Finn Bell, my co-worker at the Poetry Global Network, and whom I always champion as one of the great presences in the Zoom world of poetry. It's always great to have you, Finn, from San Francisco. If you, for those who don't know, and I'm sure most of you do know Finn. Hi, I think you are on mute, by the way.
Hi there. Okay, sharing screen. Hopefully you could all see that. So I'm going to begin with a haiku, followed by a tanka. Then I believe 2 or 3 full-length poems.
Read them twice.
So haiku.
Okay.
Your skin is not white. This does not make you lesser. Brown skin holds stories. Your skin is not white. This does not make you lesser. Brown skin holds stories. Tanka. Our ailing planet gathered her evil offspring, wailed, I am dying. On the 6th day, God made man. False idols, the killing blow. Tanka. Our ailing planet gathered her evil offspring, wailed, I am dying. On the 6th day, God made man. False idols, the killing blow. This poem is called Sea Air. It will be your sleeping face that stirs my passion. Still, I will temper what craves in seaweed movement, sleek, hidden away. I anticipate our time of awakening. I would like to feign this slumber a minute longer. I would like to play pretend at first my eyelids toppled half-moon crescents, your senses igniting, your body conscious. A torrent washes over us, laps at my toes, overwhelms my still burrowed face. I separate our swimming forms. Can a mere human hand divide the return of the tide from the ocean into which it nestles? You muttered unintelligible dreams last night, wrangled the sun to singe my skin, and the moon of me curved and moaned and hastened her 8 phases. We do not sink into the whirlpool forming between our love-welded bodies, prizing us apart to sample and savor our dark desire's depths. We summon the skies to our aid. He cries and rumbles in response. I cannot deny us the tight-lipped oyster, the obscure pregnant telltale in her curved shell, the secretive pearl at her core. I am fiendish as I hoard her, she the one who holds our fervent invocation, anting anting toward the world far away, to remain ashore. I will be our sentinel. The sirens chant their tales, tunneling the way to Fathom's cellar. I will hold you back from answering their call. I am the lighthouse, and you are the shipwreck. My voice carries through the heavy curtain night, diverts you. You reach for me to touch the twin flames upon the tips of my breast. Anticipate the honed, frantic entry into these harbors, your safety. It is here at long last you recognize home. I am the waters that flow around you, a remembering of each life before and coming. I am the sea witch and your ripened opalescent half-dream. I refuse you the oxygen to inhale deeply into your lung chambers. I will steal back that air. I want you to awaken, to breathe back into this life on your own. And so this next piece is untitled. It is on the deadly sin of wrath, but one of our cohorts at the Poetry Global Network named Squig said it's more like it's spite than wrath. So I kind of somewhat titled it Untitled Poem on the Deadly Sin of Wrath, but I'm told its aftertaste rather says spite instead. When I gained courage, let go, I found myself alone, falling. No rewind to time. Regret wants to stick the forward button. I find the words no more. A reserve parachute incantation. I no longer take the fall so that you remain aloft. I cease to be frightened, fledgling. Here, see, I am free and buoyant. You cease to hold the power to make me think I am at fault. You're the bottom that may not exist beyond the endless dark. You cease to hold me in thrall. I will not take the leap and feel at fault. I'm still suspended in air, but no longer spiraling downward. I'm growing this tenacity wingspan, seamless in mesh musculature of yield and full stop of compassionate grace and fearsome metal. These bones are birthed feeling light. Pin feathers and blood upon my shoulders, fast catching air lifting me upward. No cheap wax, pretty lines and hubris to Icarus conceit my worth. Indignant huffing drag me earthbound. Queen Nyx and Erebus look up from their ambrosia, unperturbed, pat the extra seat they've kept warm should I ever drop in. You cease to be the lips that intone the enchantment. I remove myself from your mouth. The smooth round charm placed on your tongue, the illusion causing the martyr to slumber, to tumble inside her terrified dreams in endless shame. Thrice I repeat these words, the spell is undone. You are locked in your descent. 4th floor, 5th floor, last stop, Ninth circle of hell. Thrice I repeat these words, the spell is undone. I rise up and my feathers have become mythical. Thrice I repeat these words, the spell is undone. The silver flash trick of guilt plunges through the clouds tangled, impotent, dead upon arrival sorcery. So mote it be.
Oh, still under the spell. Wow, that was wonderful. I mean, just the way you use it's good to see because they fly by so fast. My eyelids half moon crescents, your eyelids, and the moon of me, curved and measured. There's great moon images that you just kind of pass by quickly. And, and the next poem, the seamless enmeshed musculature. The language is so rich too. It's wonderful to see it as well as to hear your mesmerizing voice read them all the time. And thank you very much. Happy National Poetry Month indeed. Wow. Well, wonderful. Yeah. Laura, then Steve, then Aaron, and we're joined by Shulamit. I'm not sure if you'd like to read Shulamit. You can close us off if that's okay as well.
No, I
And so,
don't have anything. I'm listening.
sure. Thanks for joining. So Laura, hi. Good.
Hi,
Hi, Laura.
good to see you.
Nice to see you again. You're in California, right?
No, I'm in Florida's rival, Texas.
Texas. Oh, I'm sorry. Hi.
That's
I saw
okay.
you so just we know where each other are from, but it's good to see you again. We from last night, and thank you for joining today. It's a wonderful poet.
Thank you. So I was excited to hear, I forget whose 68th sonnet. I just wrote my sonnet number 1, which I will share with y'all. And hopefully my dogs, well, they might have some commentary that you will hear. Tumbles, hush. Okay. Walking through my neighborhood in the evening. At dawn, the sun on its ascent, I spied a chickadee alighted in a tree, its head upturned to wonder at the sky, a color now both creamsicle and pink. The day begun a flurried din of birds, of grackle, cardinal, dove, and blue jay call. Most passerines have quieted their words, once overtones of evening start to fall. 2 live oaks stand in yearning across the street, their branches patient, reaching to entwine. At dusk, the pair emerges as one tree in low relief against the dimming sky. I grieve the ruin humans do to earth, but evening's ebb will last when we are dirt. Thank you.
Oh, well, you have no other? That's the only one you'd like to share? It's
Yeah,
great.
that's that's all
Oh,
I
that's
got
okay.
today.
Well,
Thank you.
that's a good start of sonnet writing. I always find that, from time to time, to have a form like a sonnet, and you impose upon yourself, it actually frees you in a
Yeah,
way. Because it frees you not have to worry about form, but just how to fill in the content of the
Right.
form. And
Yeah,
so it's a good sometimes to break it up to work in both,
I
free
have
to
to,
work in jazz and work in classical at the same time.
I have to
Groove.
say,
yes.
after 68, I'm still learning.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was very intimidated by iambic pentameter, but as soon as I started working on it, it was like, we're speaking in this all the time. Like this
well,
is
you'll find that in today also as it's good to start, and work metrically and all that. But today the modern sonnet is not necessarily in that form, nor does it rhyme, and all the rest of it. So there
course,
is openings for it, like all
sure.
that. But sure, it's great to work within that framework, just to like learning how to draw or playing scales.
Right.
It's part of being a poet. So we have 2 poets left. Steve C. I have not seen you. Steve, are you? There you are. And Aaron. Steve, are you visible? Hi, Steve.
Hi, Mark. And I have
I
to
don't know. I
confess,
don't know very much about you. Where you're from?
I'm in the Mid-Atlantic, not far from Robert, and I typically spend my time with nonfiction and some short fiction work. And I hadn't planned to read, but I did pop open one that I'm happy to share in terms of poetry.
Please. Well, nice to meet you. Thank you.
This was inspired by a whimsical piece of art.
Could you put it up for us to see?
I'm sorry, I don't have it available. I apologize for that.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll listen to it. It is what makes this unique. This event a little bit more unique as that we can. But in this case, of course. But hopefully next time, please do.
I can share the poem. I apologize. I was answering about the art itself.
Oh yeah, sure. Please do. Yeah.
Can you see it now?
Yes.
When I said, my ears are too long and my arms are too short, Dad said, you're not wrong. It's your mother's fault. Mom said, oh no, no, no. You have two that won't stop and two that won't grow. Well, my tail is still fluffy, but now everyone's huffy. My fur is too hot and my hop is just shot. Shot? Mom said. I really, really, really hope not. Kissing my cheeks and pinching my toes, she baked cupcakes with carrots, easing my woes. Dad made some too, but his tasted like glue. After calling a friend, Chef Jimmy Walt, Dad said again, it's your mother's fault. Give me a second. I'm not familiar with moving the screen around this way.
There you go.
Mom's fiery eyes looked kind of wild, not meek, not mild. To me, she looked really quite riled. Then Mom nuzzled my neck and gave my fuzzy head a light peck. Sweet little Peter, your father's not much of a reader. While he beaches with sun, I reread Anatomy 101. My fresh knowledge is like a pastry with cream, just luscious and sweet, like your 18-inch feet. You're designed smarter than Fox, so when you don't move, you look like some rocks. Those longest pink ears are simple and fine for helping you for helping you hear things coming too near. And arrow arms up front let you spring here to there with nary a grunt. As she hopped off to work, my smart Dr. Mom, packing celery, light salt, whispered to me, that perfect body of yours, it's your Mother Earth's fault. And that was entitled Pink Rabbit.
Is that an ekphrastic work, or just out of your imagination?
It is. It was ekphrastic.
Well, it's very comical. Do you have anything else, or is this all you prepared to read today?
That's all I have.
Well, thank you.
Hi, Steve.
Thank you for being a part, Steve. Yeah, nice work.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Visual. And our last reader for tonight. Hello, Aaron.
Oh, I just tuned in to listen. I like
sure,
poetry.
okay.
I didn't know it was a reading thing.
Well, sure enough. Well, that finishes up the score. And well, again today, as always, I think if you've been here throughout, you just experienced a huge range of just incredible poems. And I'll put these will be available on YouTube on the Planet Poetry 28 channel. Just go there, and it's month by month. You can go see you can all see our poems for a second time, and invite others to see your poems as well. Leave a comment, and the next one, the next Planet Poetry 28 in May. you'll hear about, and love to hear you participate again. Thank you all so much for coming, and keep in touch. I love this event. I really get a big charge of it, and I hope you all did as well.
Thank you